We've all heard of the Bermuda Triangle. Some have heard of the Alaska Triangle. But have you heard of the Dogman Triangle? Yeah, before I started researching this, neither had I. There's an area of Texas where sightings of the Dogman happen more often than anywhere else. That's right, it's a magnet for Dogman encounters. It's an eerie stretch of land right in the heart of Texas where things get stupidly weird. People keep spotting this hulking, nightmare-inducing creature with glowing eyes and a growl that rattles your bones. Recent encounters are making even skeptics lose their shit. This isn't just some random rumor. It's a full-blown Texas invasion. You're about to dive deep into the heart of the Dogman Triangle, where strange things are unusually common, and every sighting seems to uncover something even freakier. Ready to find out what the fuck's really lurking out there? Cannonball! So let's get one thing straight. We're not talking about some made-up, cheap-ass horror story. This is the Texas Dogman Triangle. A stretch of land where shit hits the fan more often than anyone's comfortable admitting. It's a damned cryptid hotspot. A dark vortex of Dogman sightings that's been riling up the cryptid community and freaking out researchers. Imagine a triangle cutting through Texas, linking Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio. A fucking massive area covering 23,212 square miles, where people keep seeing this terrifying half-man, half-dog creature lurking around, scaring the hell out of locals and travelers alike. So, what the hell is the Dogman? Picture this, a towering creature with the head of a dog and a hairy human-like body. It has long, muscular limbs and a snout full of razor-sharp teeth and eyes that glow internally in the dark, meaning it's not eye shine. We're talking about a creature straight out of your worst goddamn nightmares, stalking the remote forests and wooded roads where people just happen to pass through alone or in the dead of night. Or, worst case, both. It moves fast. It's strong as hell. And according to those who've seen it, it has a growl so deep and menacing that, well, let's just say you'll need a good supply of Imodium and toilet paper. These bastards are not something you want to run into if you're out for a quiet night hike or taking a late night drive through the sticks. Now, here's where things get even more fucked up. This area has caught the attention of the cryptid community and paranormal researchers for a damn good reason. In most places, Dogman sightings are rare. An occasional glimpse here, a stray report there. You know, nothing too crazy. But within this triangle, sightings are common enough to get noticed and to keep people talking. Cryptid enthusiasts have put it on a map, and paranormal researchers have started flocking to Texas, chasing reports of glowing eyes, monstrous growls, and strange footprints left behind in the mud. This place is the Dogman Triangle, a god-forsaken hotspot for the unknown. A territory that's stirring up theories, sightings, and fear in just about everyone who gets close enough to see what might be lurking in the darkness. Let's dive into the deep, dark roots of this Dogman legend, because believe me, it didn't just pop out of nowhere. There's a whole goddamn history of stories, myths, and legends in Texas about dog-like beasts lurking in the shadows, hunting in the night, and scaring the shit out of anyone unlucky enough to get too close. Hell, the tales go back centuries, with Native American tribes even telling stories about something eerily similar. Texas has a fuck ton of these legends, like it's got some strange cursed magnetism pulling in every creature from folklore you could imagine. First off, there's Native American lore about dog-like creatures haunting these lands long before anyone coined the term Dogman. Many tribes spoke of shape-shifting spirits with canine features, acting as both protectors and warnings. Entities you didn't want to fuck with unless you were looking for trouble. Some tribes told tales of skinwalkers, beings that could transform into animals, including dogs or wolves. Skinwalkers aren't exactly dogmen, but the idea that something not quite human could lurk and transform was already in the culture. It was an unspoken rule. Don't fuck with the woods. Then, early settlers brought their own monsters from the old world. Texas became a breeding ground for these fears, with European werewolf legends blending right into the local tales. The settlers told stories of men turning into wolves under a full moon, of savage beasts lurking in the forests, hungry for blood, feasting on livestock, and even threatening people who strayed too close. Those European fears mixed with existing stories of shapeshifters, creating an atmosphere ripe for something dark to take root. Adding to the mix, Mexican folklore brought its own shapeshifters, nahuales, trickster beings who could turn into wolves or coyotes. Just like European werewolves, these nahual legends settled into Texas folklore, contributing to that eerie shape-shifting atmosphere. Together, these cultural stories painted a picture of Texas as a place full of creatures that could change form and attitude at any moment. Then, there are Texas-specific legends of werewolf-like creatures roaming the wilds. Some say these tales are tied to Comanche stories of wolf spirits in certain areas, while others claim Spanish settlers brought their werewolf myths and intertwined them with local lore. Over time, these stories combined into something uniquely Texan. A beast with the ruthlessness of a wolf and the intelligence of a man. It wasn't just a creature, it was a symbol of danger, stalking ranches, slaughtering livestock, and scaring the hell out of anyone brave enough to seek it out. These stories didn't disappear over the years. Oh no, they evolved as people began calling this creature something else. The Dogman. The legend gained new life. In the past, sightings might have been chalked up to werewolves, but with modern cryptid interest, it became the Dogman. The Dogman took the place of the old werewolf tales, only with a fresh name and an even bigger mystery. Unlike werewolves, the Dogman doesn't wait for a full moon, doesn't transform back into a human, and doesn't mind being seen. It just shows up, scares the fuck out of whoever's unlucky enough to spot it, and then leaves them with a trauma that's hard to shake. The Dogman legend in Texas is a unique cryptid cocktail, a mix of Native American lore about spirits and shapeshifters, European werewolf myths, Mexican tales of nahuales, and a modern fascination with cryptids. For centuries, people have spotted this creature, or something like it, long before the term cryptid ever existed. These stories never really died. They kept changing, keeping the fear alive. Despite countless logical explanations, the Dogman hasn't faded. If anything, it grows stronger, lurking in Texas's wild places and haunting the imagination. So here we are, calling it the Dogman Triangle. It's not just sightings specifically in Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio. It's the whole goddamn area. In the San Antonio area, Dogman sightings have occurred in Clio, Fredericksburg, Johnson City, Lockhart, Plum Creek, Kerrville, and Austin. In the Houston area, Dogman has been spotted in Sam Houston National Forest, pretty much throughout the whole 164,000 acres. Conroe, Vidor, Orange, and Galveston. In the Dallas area, dogmen have been reported in Paradise, Sanger, Dallas, Fort Worth, and throughout Collin County. It's a cryptid sighting outbreak of massive proportions. It's a place where every dark legend, every creepy tale, every whispered story about werewolves, shapeshifters, and dogmen come to life. Whether it's because of the history, the land, or just some act of twisted nature, the Dogman Triangle is one place you don't want to diddle fuck around in. It's like these creatures have woven themselves into the land itself, and now they're ready to spring out at anyone who dares to come close. Let's dive into the meat and taters part of this video, the sightings. These accounts are all told in a first-person perspective. I didn't experience all this shit personally. Thank God. I'd have lost my fucking mind. After a meeting in Austin, I decided to camp out near Pedernales Falls State Park on a private ranch. By the time I arrived, it was dark, around 6:30 p.m. on Friday, November 18, 2016. I was allowed to set up camp anywhere, so I chose a remote spot near a creek. As I arrived, I heard screams from what sounded like two men and one or two women nearby. My initial thought was that I'd have to put up with some loud, rowdy campers blowing off some steam. They had a campfire down by the creek, about 150 yards below me. I saw shadows flicker near their fire, but didn't see the campers themselves. While setting up my camp, I heard only screams, no regular conversations. The screams kept intensifying, eventually turning into barking and howling. I brushed it off, assuming they were just being wild. While gathering firewood, I sensed someone nearby and called out that I'd be camping above them, expecting a response. No one answered, but I assumed they'd respect my space. As I prepared to start my fire, the barking intensified, becoming deeper and louder. 3 or 4 howls joined in a chilling crescendo. That caught my attention. It didn't sound like normal dogs or coyotes fighting. Instead, the barking seemed directional, as if animals were trying to outdo each other with wails and howls. I began to wonder if they'd set up speakers to play recorded sounds, but that made no sense. The howling grew fiercer, and a feeling of unease crept over me. Deciding I couldn't sleep there, I collapsed my tent, leaving my firewood behind. With only a heavy machete for protection, I approached the ledge overlooking their campfire. But the howling was overwhelming, and I couldn't bring myself to get any closer. I wished I'd had a tape recorder to capture what I was hearing. It was unlike anything I'd heard from humans. In the end, I left deeply disturbed. I never did see any people in the camp. I only heard those relentless, inhuman sounds echoing through the night. On April 4, 2018, I came home from work around midnight. Like most nights, I sat down on my back porch, lit a cigarette, cracked open a cold one, and relaxed. However, unlike most nights, I heard something new. I'm used to coyotes and my neighbor's dogs barking, but in this case, it was different. It sounded like a deep howl, but instead of the usual dog sound, it stayed as one tone, and it was several octaves deeper. I heard it go from backyard to backyard, and the neighbor's dogs took notice. The dog's barking triggered one of my dogs to run out to the fence line, and she began to bark at something unseen. I got up and told her, "Hey, come back in here, girl. It's okay." She turned to me and she sat there, utterly frozen in fear. It took a few minutes to break her out of this, and she bolted to the back door. I decided to poke my head out of the gate and look into the field behind the fence. By the tree line, I saw these amber-colored eyes standing about 5 feet above the ground. I decided to run in, grab my knife, and went out in the direction of the eyes. Personally, I would have grabbed something bigger than a goddamn knife before I went charging at that fucker. But hey, kudos to him. He's got titanium balls, that's for sure. The whole time I walked, I heard the howls. However, though, when I got close to where I initially saw these eyes, every sound stopped. You could literally hear a pin drop. Oh shit, shields up. Where I didn't see anything, I felt the presence of something watching me. After a few moments, I walked back to the porch and sat and had another smoke. It was then the howls started again. This time, though, they came from my neighbor's backyard. They have 2 German shepherds, and I will never forget this sound. I first heard this guttural growl noise, unlike anything I've ever heard before. Then one of the shepherds yelped, and then I heard the other dog get slammed against the fence. Holy shit! I heard my neighbor fire off a round, and then I heard this thing run off. Texas seeks help in identifying mysterious dog man seen in viral photo. June 8, 2022. In an odd update to an already strange story, a city in Texas is asking the public for their help in solving the mystery of a viral photo showing a bipedal canine creature lurking around the perimeter of a zoo in the community. The very weird image made headlines last week when it was posted to Reddit by someone who said that it came from a camera stationed at the Amarillo Zoo. At the time, the account surrounding the photo was considered suspicious, given its anonymous source. However, a peculiar press release issued by the city of Amarillo on the following morning confirms the picture's origin story and calls on residents to help crack the mysterious case. According to the announcement, the photo was indeed captured in the dark and early morning hours of May 21st by security cameras inside the perimeter fence at the Amarillo Zoo. The press release went on to put forward a few theories for what the critter could have been, including a coyote walking on its hind legs, a person with a strange hat, and the legendary chupacabra, before conceding that the image is a genuine mystery. For now, the strange visitor is a UAO, unidentified Amarillo object, the city declared, musing that perhaps Amarillo has a better explanation. This happened to me last weekend. I'm from Waco, Texas, south of Fort Worth, and it was late Saturday afternoon. I was out on a solo hike at a national park I visit often. I prefer hiking alone, enjoying the peacefulness and natural scenery. I'd been hiking for about 2 or 3 hours. When I hike, I go all in. I bring lunch, plenty of water, and my walking stick, though this time I'd forgotten it. Luckily, there were plenty of fallen branches around that worked just fine. As the sun started setting, I decided to turn back, not wanting to push it since I'd ventured a bit further than usual. On my way back, I started hearing noises coming from somewhere off to my left, maybe behind me. At first, I shrugged it off, thinking, it might be a deer or some rodent. But then I heard it again, louder this time. I knew it was no deer. Maybe a wild boar? Wild boars are pretty common here. They're big and often dangerous. I picked up my pace, just in case. If you're not from Texas, you might not get how fierce these boars can be. They can be deadly, and they get huge. Now, adding to my problem, I regretted the hummus I'd had for lunch. I really needed to go to the bathroom, but didn't feel safe stopping and dropping. Something just felt off about this whole situation. Then I heard a howl. This time it sounded like it was directly behind me. I spun around so fast I stumbled and embarrassingly lost my shit, literally. But that was the least of my worries, because about 50 yards behind me, I saw something. 2 red, glowing eyes peering at me from behind some trees. Well, whatever it was huge, pitch black, and it wasn't human. I couldn't make out a figure exactly, just a massive dark shape with those eyes staring right at me. Panic set in. I turned and ran, hoping whatever it was wouldn't follow. I could barely think straight, just focused on getting out of there as fast as I could. Whatever was lurking back there was not something I wanted to encounter up close. I kept running, feeling those eyes on my back the entire time. Somehow, I made it out of the woods unharmed. I haven't gone back to that park since, and I don't think I will anytime soon. That image of those red, glowing eyes is still burned into my memory. Let's get into what might be going on with these Dogman sightings. Interestingly, no one's saying folks are just making shit up. There are too many stories, too many shaken people swearing they've seen something out in the woods. But skeptics and scientists have their theories. Let's dig into those first. Starting with science. Some experts suggest that people might just be misidentifying regular animals. You thought you saw a half-man, half-dog creature? Maybe it was a coyote or a wolf, they say. Coyotes have been spotted in urban areas, and red wolves are still around in parts of Texas. Feral dogs, which can be big and intimidating, might even get mistaken for something monstrous. These animals' eyes reflect light in an eerie glow, and under the right conditions, even a coyote standing on its hind legs could look pretty fucked. Others say it could be a black bear on two legs, which is something upright and menacing. But bears don't have a dogman's long snout or that lean, muscular body people describe. A bear might fool someone, sure, but enough people are adamant they know what a fucking bear looks like, and that's not what they saw. Then there's the skeptics angle. Skeptics argue it's all in your head, something called pareidolia, where your mind fills in the gaps of unknown patterns, especially when you're spooked in a dark forest. You might catch a glimpse of something in the shadows, and your brain, primed by Dogman legends, turns it into a monster. According to this theory, it's just your imagination and a few creepy stories making you see things. But that doesn't explain why people keep describing the same thing over and over. A dog-headed figure that looks nothing like any known animal. Another skeptical theory is about the power of fear and local legends. When you hear stories about Dogman, your brain buys into the possibility, and if you're alone in the woods, every noise seems suspicious. Skeptics think these stories set you up to imagine something terrifying. But try convincing that to the thousands of people who swear they've come face to face with this creature and walked away with nightmares for years. They're not buying that bullshit. Now, let's get into the theories cryptid enthusiasts believe. These folks argue that Dogman isn't a misidentified bear or coyote. Instead, it's an undiscovered species, a real creature lurking in the deepest, wildest parts of the forest, surfacing only when it wants to. It's not impossible for a predator like Dogman to stay hidden, appearing only on its terms. Some even believe it could be supernatural, a guardian spirit, a ghost, or some being that takes physical form just to scare people off its land. And if that's not strange enough, there are even conspiracy theories about Dogman. Some think the government is behind these sightings. That Dogman is a product of genetic experiments or a classified project gone wrong. The government's hiding it, letting Dogman roam free while keeping the public in the dark. Sound far-fetched? Maybe, but given all the wild conspiracy theories floating around today, shit, nothing would surprise me anymore. So, from scientific explanations to paranormal and conspiratorial theories, everyone's got their own take on what's behind the Dogman sightings. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. Some laugh it off as imagination or shadows, while others believe there's something truly dark, real, and dangerous out there. Whether it's a rare animal, a supernatural creature, or even a government project gone rogue, the mystery around Dogman remains as wild as ever. So here we are, standing at the edge of the Dogman Triangle. This strange, eerie stretch of Texas that's got believers hooked and skeptics shrugging but still fucking intrigued. The thing is, this place isn't just some random patch of land. It's a goddamn magnet for cryptid legends. And it keeps dragging in every curious mind, every brave soul, everyone who's ever dared to ask, what the hell is out there? And maybe that's why stories like the Dogman endure. They tap into something primal, something deep as hell that we can't shake off, no matter how logical we try to be. Texas is full of wild tales and bigger-than-life legends, and we need them. These stories keep the mystery alive in a world that's hell-bent on explaining everything away. They remind us that there's still some crazy-ass shit out there we ain't figured out yet. So whether you believe in the Dogman or think it's just some tall tale, one thing's clear as hell. There's something about the Dogman Triangle that's got people looking over their shoulder, wondering if they're the next ones to come face to face with this absolute nightmare. If you think this video is dope as hell, don't forget to tap that like button and subscribe. That way you won't miss out on more of my fucked up commentary. And besides, I really do appreciate it. The Dogman Triangle. Man, things just keep popping off in such weird ways, don't they? What do y'all think about the Dogman? Have you ever seen one yourself? Let me know down in the comments. And last, but definitely not least, check out my kick fucking ass merch. The link's down in the description. I've got Scarinator t-shirts and tanks, Stay Creepy t-shirts, tanks, mugs, stickers, man, all kinds of epic stuff. Until next time, y'all keep it real, keep it chill, and stay creepy. Catch you on the flip. Thank you for watching and listening until the very end. You kick total ass.